Hello, you are most welcome. I'm teacher Ivan from Wuna Educational Services. Today we shall be looking at undefined or meaningless or infinite function. What does it take for a function to be meaningless? However, before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with classmates, family members, and friends. Hit the notification button so that whenever we post a new video, you get notified. Thank you. Now, for a function to be undefined, the denominator of that function must be equal to 0. For instance, for f of t, which equals to t plus 1 over t squared minus 4, to be undefined, or meaningless, or infinite, comma, t squared minus 4 must be equal to 0 because it's the denominator of the function, which will give us t as the square root of 4, which is either positive or negative 2. So that is the condition for a function to be undefined, meaningless, or infinite. And now you realize that that condition is given when they want us to find the unknown or the variable. Examples. Let us look at more examples concerning undefined functions. We are asked to find the values of x if f of x, which equals to 3x plus 1 over x squared plus 3x minus 40 is undefined. So if this function f of x, which equals to 3x plus 1 over x squared plus 3x minus 40 is undefined, then it means that its denominator, which is x squared plus 3x minus 40, equals to 0. And if this equals to 0, then we can find the value of x. This is a quadratic equation that can be solved by 4 possible ways. We can use factorization method, we can use the quadratic formula, we can use the completing of squares, we can also use the graphical method. If you use factorization, get the sum, the product, and the factors. Here the sum is 3. We take the coefficient of x. The product is negative 40. Since we have a 1, so it is 1 times negative 40, which is negative 40. Then factors, you look for 2 numbers that you add to get 3 and multiply to get negative 40. That is probably negative 5 and 8. Those are our factors. Hence, that will leave us with 2 possible values of x, which will be either 5 or negative 8. So that is how we deal with the undefined or meaningless or infinite functions. Now we have other questions that they ask about functions. However, before we go through these questions, you must note that for you to do functions very well, you must know some of these topics. 1. Change of subject of the formula. We've seen that in finding the inverse where we make the variable the subject. So if you don't know how to change the subject of the formula, you always get problems. 2. You must know how to solve quadratic equations. We've just seen that. If you cannot solve quadratic equations, you are in trouble with the functions. 3. You must know how to solve simultaneous equations, because other problems in functions require the knowledge of simultaneous equations. So please, before you come for functions, have those 3 topics in mind. We have all those topics here at Wuna e-learning platform, so you can watch so that you enjoy the mathematics. Please, let us continue and look at what other functions problems can be set. Let us continue. We have questions here. Number 1 says, given that f of x equals to 48 minus 5x over x plus 3. The question is, find part A, f of 6, part B, f inverse of 0. So how are we solving this? Part A is quite simple because it only requires us to substitute. So we shall say from the f of x, which is 48 minus 5x over x plus 3, where there is x is where we shall replace with 6. Hence, f of 6 equals to 48 minus 5 into 6 over 6 plus 3, which gives us 48 minus 30 over 9, which is 18 over 9, giving us 2. So that is how we get the f of 6. Then we go to our second part, which is asking for the f inverse of 0. For us to find the f inverse of 0, we must first of all get the f inverse of x. Then from there, that's when we shall substitute x with 0. That is, we have the f of x as 48 minus 5x over x plus 3. Remember, we have 3 steps of how we can get the f inverse. Step 1 is letting the f of x be let it be t, so that we get t as 48 minus 5x over x plus 3. Step 2, we make x the subject. So in making x the subject, this is t equaling to 48 minus 5x over x plus 3. So this is a fraction. We make this a fraction and cross multiply, so that we have t into x plus 3 equaling to 48 minus 5x. After that, open bracket and collect like terms. That is tx plus 3t equaling to 48 minus 5x. So since we are making x the subject, let us bring together those x terms, or terms that are having x. That is tx, bring the 5 near this, it becomes plus 5x. Since it is crossing the equal signs, get 48 minus 3t. Factorize out x, so that you get x into t plus 5 equaling to 48 minus 3t. Then since you want to remain with x, divide throughout by t plus 5, t plus 5. Then you have your x as 48 minus 3t over t plus 5. That is step 2. Step 3, you replace x with the f inverse of x and the t with the x, so that we have remember we have x as 48 minus 3t over t plus 5. So when we replace, we shall have f inverse of x equaling to 48 minus 3x, since we are replacing, over x plus 5. So after getting the f inverse of x, we now get the f inverse of 0, which will be, now where we have x is where we shall replace 0. That is 48 minus 3 into 0 over 0 plus 5, hence giving us 48 minus 0 over 5. That is 48 over 5, which is 9 and 3 over 5. So that is the f inverse of 0. That is it. There are many other questions that we can do concerning functions, but for now, that is what we can do. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Thank you.